Lot of things have been going on with the stonks, Mike. The stonk markets are just, woo. The memes have been great. People are mad, as you can see. What if GameStop was a dirty trick pulled by some figure like Steve Bannon or his boy genius Bitcoin crony to f with Biden's administration before they could get on its feet? And we don't have her to explain the stock market to us.
Why not?
She won't return my calls or my dick pic messages. What a
She's probably a
okay.
This is my favorite.
Yeah.
This is my favorite is the guys that go, oh, this chick, man, she wouldn't give me no play. She must be a fucking.
What a fucking.
You're like, oh, that must be it.
You're busy scissoring.
I used to love guys who would go, oh, clearly that is the only reason why she won't suck your dick. She's clearly a.
Well, we want to explain kind of what's going on with this stuff, and we had been a couple of years since we've had NotCIASteve on. Had him on for a little bit this morning, and he seemed to understand this shit more than I did. So, he is qualified. I'm going to have him explain his qualifications. Our buddy, NotCIASteve. Hey, what's going on, pal?
Gents, how are you?
What's going on?
Doing good. Now, why don't you?
Not much.
What are your
Mr.
qualifications?
Mersh. Good talking to you, buddy.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing all right. I am not active, but I am my license is active. I just have to find a trading house, but I have a Series 7 broker's license. So if you ever make a trade, I'm usually the guy who would do it for you.
Did you have a Chinese guy go do the test for you, like Chris Moltisanti?
No, actually, I did it all on my own. We Cubans are an intelligent group.
You remember that scene where they're like, Moltisanti? And he's like, here. It's like some little Chinese guy.
Okay, so first off, are you in a wind tunnel?
No, I'm walking a dog. I'm sorry. I tried the best that I could, but she is driving me crazy. So you get to deal with a little bit of wind. I'm going to do my best not to, but the cold front's coming through, so I'm going to try and stay out of it. Is it bad?
Oh my God, a cold front. What is it going to hit? 58 degrees?
40 something.
It is icy cold. I need to get my parka.
Yeah. So, real quick rundown. You don't have to do the whole explanation this morning, but quick rundown.
Yeah, I'm not doing another 2 hours.
What? Yeah, your Adderall's wearing off. So what?
I'm just a little tired.
What exactly happened with GameStop for people that don't understand?
Yeah, long story short, what ended up happening was back in September, a known hedge fund, released their trades, and usually what you see is that people kind of copy their trades, and a couple of day traders looking to take revenge on some hedge funds saw an opportunity, and they saw what's called a short position. A short position, very, very high level understanding here. It's when you borrow a stock, betting that it's going to go lower so that you get to buy it at the lower price, and then the other guy has to make the difference up to you. That was on the other side of the bet. That's generally how that works. So these guys on Wall Street Bets, who they produce like cool little day trading information and good, analysis isn't bad. They saw an opportunity. They weaponized Redditors who have access to Robinhood accounts, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Schwab, basic stock buying platforms, and said, hey, look, they're in a short position, so go pump the stock. Basically, let's buy them out of their short position. And so what that means, you're betting that the stock price will go down in a short position. So someone's, betting obviously the other way. If you can get the price to go up by the time that position was supposed to go down, then you're going to end up costing that person a lot of money. And as I was telling Royce this morning, there's a limitless potential of losses, right? So like in a normal stock play, on what we call a long play, if I just bought stock, right, what's the most that I could lose? Well, however much I spent on the stock. Right? If I buy $1,000 worth of stock, I can only lose $1,000. There's no negative stock return that I'm going to have to pay out. But in shorts, because you're betting it at a floor, like you're saying, hey, it's only going to go to $20. If the stock goes to $600, you owe the difference per share of $580 per share. You buy a million shares of that, you're going to owe a shit ton of money. So that's what happened. Well, this got out of control real fast, which normally happens when anything goes viral. It got so far out of control that the trading platforms, which I think is kind of where a lot of the questions are going to come for today, they had to step in and finally restrict or shut down trading to potential targeted stocks, because what's being done is called a stock squeeze, or a short squeeze, excuse me. So a short squeeze is the operation where you take down a short position, and they found like 5 different positions that they think, anyway, are potential squeezes. And so the market's pissed, everybody's pissed, and now the government's going to try and step in. Elizabeth Warren thinks she has an opportunity. It's just gotten so far out of control, and it basically made some people a shit ton of money, and it's killing a lot of others.
So that's what's happening is right now, Robinhood and a couple other sites have stopped you from buying any shares in GameStop. And they are actually forced selling stuff for some people. I've been seeing that going around too. So they've been
so what's happening there, and this is, I think you had asked about that earlier, like, what is this? It's probably happening. It's an agreement that anybody who signs up makes. There's a fiduciary responsibility that all brokers have. It's a question on the test. It's on 2 tests that I have to take. There's a Series 66, which I have, and a Series 7, and it gets repeated over and over that you have a fiduciary responsibility to not let things get out of control for your investor. What does that mean? Well, it goes back to 2008 and even further into 2001, right? These are Dodd-Frank's rules. These are government rules that got placed onto the market and said, this got out of control back in the 80s with savings and loan. You don't get to do this again, because what can I do as a trader? I could tell you what to buy, right? Which is pretty much what happened, right? But that's what it is. I could turn around and go, listen, I know the market better than you. Just give me all your money, because I'm going to take a commission anyway. You're going to lose your ass, but who cares? I'm still getting your money, right? So the government said, no. You have to do what's in their best interest, not your best interest. So Robinhood operates as a broker, just like me. So if you were to come to, Steve's investment house or whatever, then I'm your broker, and you would put your money with me. It's no different than what Robinhood's doing. Just Robinhood is faceless, right? It's just an app. But there's somebody on the other side of that app who, when you submit your trade, is actually doing the trade for you. You're not doing the trade. The broker's doing the trade on your behalf. So they have a fiduciary responsibility. Robinhood also is trying to do their own IPO. So there's like some more underground stuff here that's starting to bubble up that might make the optics even worse for Robinhood.
Well, Robinhood right now has, I believe, 2 class action lawsuits because of this.
Yes, I saw that. Now, they did agree to open up GameStop tomorrow, but they're going to limit it.
Oh, how nice of them. How nice of them to allow people to trade what they want.
There's this big thing. I was telling Royce this morning, it's such a weird microcosm of things that are going on because so many different sides are involved. When Ted Cruz is retweeting AOC, you know that the apocalypse is right on our doorstep.
Well, it's not only that he's retweeting her, but you saw he retweeted her, and then she tweeted him back, and she was like, "You literally tried to have me killed," and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, she accused him of murder
because these. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that's it.
Yeah. So it's so why is Robinhood allowed to push out trades that you're not approving? Because when you sign up with anybody to do investments for you, we have you do a risk tolerance questionnaire survey, however you want to call it, and you answer a handful of questions that basically tell us how risk averse you are. Right? Maybe you're somebody who doesn't like to make bets. Well, you're going to make that clear in a series of questions that shows us you're relatively risk averse. Okay. So then if you're getting involved in a stock that is blowing up and is unbelievably volatile, we have permission to sell you out of your portfolio to rebalance everything. And that's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, they're doing that, but
The optics are bad.
The optics are super bad, but my thing is that seeing a lot of these entrenched hedge fund managers and all these people losing their minds is hilarious to me. We talked about it, but Jeremy C. Owens, the guy from MarketWatch, he tweeted out, "GameStop is not a $10 billion company. Full stop." Okay, what is he, a 15-year-old girl?
Oh, that's the guy that had to protect his thread and everything because he was getting just bombarded on Twitter.
GameStop is not a $10 billion company. Full stop. And everyone involved in all of this knows that. Yet there's unsophisticated investors. Everyone, us.
Unwashed plebeians.
Yeah, the unwashed masses, investors out here seeing all this fun WSB is having and buying the shit out of it. And this is my favorite line. It will not end well. Stop laughing.
But honestly, aren't the people at Wall Street Bets just doing the same thing that all of these people do anyway?
Yes.
It was fine. Well, it was fine when they were doing it, when they were playing their little inside baseball. But when a couple guys fucking just threw a Molotov cocktail into the machine, now it's a problem. Now it's like, hey guys, this is irresponsible. We shouldn't be using the stock market to do a bunch of wild speculative plays. And it's like, well, no. That's what you've been doing for 20 years and then getting a bailouts with our fucking money whenever you fuck it up. So like it is kind of bullshit that they're basically being disavowed for doing the same thing the guys that they're fucking with do.
And before you go, Steve, Market Watch also tweeted. This is the same guy who runs the account. You might think it's funny to value GameStop like it's 2007 again and hurt some hedge funds in the process, but you might not think the next target is funny, nor the next. Now, I want to be clear.
That was also Jeremy Owens who wrote that article.
Yes.
Yes.
So I want to be clear. Yes, I'm going to think it's funny, and I'm going to think the next is funny, and the next. And the next, because when people were fucking losing their homes and parents couldn't, when the fucking market crashed and people couldn't go to work and people couldn't buy food for their fucking family, you motherfuckers got a bailout. So I think it's hilarious.
Well, the people on Twitter too, it was funny because the guy goes, "Yeah, well, you know what? When some kid logs into his dad's account and wipes out his all of his funds with options trading on GameStop, or if some guy tells you later that he lost his entire life savings putting it into GameStop, you're not going to be laughing." And the reply, one after another, every reply was, I would laugh hysterically. I would think that was the funniest shit ever. I'm sorry. Like, maybe I'm evil, but if somebody said to me, "Yeah, I watched this GameStop shit unfold," and I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." So I took my entire life savings and bought GameStop at $340 and lost. I would laugh hysterically at that person. I go, that was the worst thing you could have possibly done. Look, I wanted to short GameStop yesterday, and I would have made a fortune. But I didn't because you're like, this is a scary thing, dude. Anything can happen right now, so I didn't do it.
Well, but but Marshall, so you're approaching this differently than most, and I think this is a lot of what gets kind of lost in the din of how dare these hedge funds get upset, which is right. I mean, it is a bit hypocritical. The problem is, like you said, I can just go short it now, right? But the people doing this who are being weaponized, they don't understand it. Right? They're doing this thinking, I'll find any short position I can and blow it up. No, because the minute you cleared $100, $150, $200 a share, the guys who you thought you were taking down just bought more short positions at 100, right? Because they know this is coming back down eventually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and when it does, they're going to win, and they're going to cover their spread. And that's the difference, right?
Well, it's what they did during the housing crisis.
Wildly volatile.
Yeah, I mean, no, go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, options trading is dangerous and very volatile, and people love it because it makes a lot of money really quick, right? Because in essence, you're just basically doing sports betting for stocks and picking, you're doing squares or you're doing lines, whatever, just as you would with a sports bet line, but you're doing it for stocks, and you make a lot of money really, really quick. And when you watch shows like Billions and shit like that, you're like, oh, I could be like this. These guys aren't anything special. Well, I'm not going to say they're special, but they understand the risks a little bit better. So what TD Ameritrade did that Robinhood should have done, but I just don't think the platform is built for it, is forced the margin covers, right? So in essence, if you try to jump into an option call with TD Ameritrade says, if you're going to do this, you better have every dollar possible to cover this if this fails. And they don't let you make a trade otherwise. So you have to show them, and that's how a lot of hedge funds work. Like, hey, we're going to need $25,000 because could lose a good chunk of money. So you have to be ready for that. So you're not putting in, your life savings like you just said. Unfortunately, too many people don't understand this. They're greedy or want to just make money, which is not really greedy. I can understand it. We're in the middle of a pandemic, right? And they want to just not die or lose their house. So they saw an opportunity and they jumped along with it. So yeah, you're right. The guys on Reddit were doing exactly what the hedge funds do, but they did it in too volatile a manner, I guess is the better way. That's what's causing the CNBC guys and everybody else to go, you got to pump the brakes on this, because market manipulation can be done, but not like this. This is dangerous, and this can get wildly out of control. And then you're looking at an 08 situation, because it's no different than houses. It's just small. That's all.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are going to get left holding that stock now too, and that was the one thing that I tried to point out even on my other show, I was like, look, I'm here for this. I think it's hilarious. I'm going to watch it unfold. I'm going to cover it, whatever. But, I try to explain to people, I'm like, anybody can have a short position, not just a hedge fund. So I'm like, there were a lot of people, too, that just got wiped out and that had short positions on GameStop. So it's like,
Yeah, because it made sense. Like, it was this thing. It's really funny. It is funny. It is funny because what's going on here is the short position itself. I mean, I was telling Royce, in 20 years, someone's going to talk about GameStop in a historical sense. That's fucking ridiculous, okay? But GameStop's making history because it's this open vehicle for a movement, and really what it is it's showing an expletive hole, right? Like, hey, look, here's a little quirk in the system that these guys took for granted, that nobody would call them on. Some guys, some day traders who are pretty intelligent and understand the way the game gets played, weaponized a bunch of people who don't understand how the game gets played.
Well, and it's funny
they use it to their advantage.
It's funny with the weaponized thing. Like, this tweet I thought was hilarious. It's a picture of Biden, and it was just Big Chungus 420, Anime Feet Sniffer, and Zoomer Girl are just a few of the financial terrorists who have sunk this American economy. It is hilarious going through it and seeing the names that are doing this. I think it's fucking amazing. Look, I understand.
Kitty or whatever, I think, is the lead call on this on the operations.
I think one of them was thick dad.
If there's anybody got any questions, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think one of them was like fucking thick dad or whatever on Reddit. It is very funny.
Well, I have a question. Because yesterday I was going to short GameStop, but they wanted like $8,000, and I was like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't short it, and if I had shorted it, I would have made thousands of dollars today. I guess my question is, why am I a pussy?
You're not. You're actually pretty. It's your risk tolerance, right? And it's funny because when I was investing or doing investments, as an advisor, almost overwhelmingly, anybody who's young has a higher risk tolerance than the people who don't, right? Like, degenerate gamblers. Well, their risk tolerance is pretty high, right? They're willing to just take it all and see what the hell happens. You're later in your life where you understand the value of a dollar, right? And you also understand that dollar's not going to always be there, so you want to keep whatever dollars you have. So, yeah, you're willing to take a little bit of risk, but you're not willing to run it because you also look at it and go, I know me. Like I told Royce this, if I'd bet on Bitcoin would be worth 15 cents right now because I bet on it. Right? Because if everybody else does it, it's like $38,000.
Well, that's how I feel. I'm the king of. I love crypto, and I'm the king of like watching something and then going, all right, I'm in, and then I'll buy. And the minute I buy, it's just red candles. And I'm like, you cocksucker,
it falls like a Malaysian
and you're right. And it is like it's this like narcissistic thing, but everyone does that where you're just like, it's me. It's because I bought it. It's literally because God. It's because God hates me.
Absolutely, Bitcoin would be 15 cents if I buy it tomorrow.
Well, could you do me a favor? Can you call me after the show? We'll work something out. I'll short the fuck out of it, and then you can just and buy one Bitcoin.
Most of the shorts right now are going to cost you 100% of the margin. So if they're going to try to set you on what's called a spread. So they're going to want you to block everything. So you're going to need like $13,000 to pull off even a small position.
Yeah, that's why I was so pissed yesterday. I was like, I got a couple hundred. I'll do a nice little quick short. And they're like, yeah, we want $8,600. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, and if you had gone long into the position, like just buy a regular stock buy, right, you would have already lost, if you had put in $100, you would have lost $900. Or not $100, excuse me, 100 shares, then you would have lost like $900 today.
Toxic,
just like that.
Toxic Avengers calling you Mersh is the sheep of Wall Street. And, there's some questions here. You can send your questions to streamlabs.com/revenge of the sis. How about that?
I will say this. You people that were holding the line yesterday are a bunch of fucking marks because...
Right. No, okay, see, thank you. That's the problem, right? And that's
fucking
rubes.
I was screaming at people to sell yesterday. I'm like, sell it! It's at $350. You bought it for $40. Just fucking sell it.
Yeah. Can you guys hear me? Did I lose
you? Yeah, you're fine. You're good.
Okay. No. What you said is exactly why they're getting the attention from the government and from the regulators, is because of these idiots who are screaming, hold the line, we'll bring them down. You're not beating a hedge fund. They got a $30 million capital injection. If you know somebody who can give you $30 million on the fly, knock yourself out. But trust me, you don't.
Well, hang on.
Hey, Steve, can I borrow $30 million?
I was just going to do this.
Oh, really?
I got you $30 million right here.
All right, yeah, see? We're good.
Please and thank you.
Oh, by the way, Royce,
Yeah,
I did use all of ROTC's money to buy GameStop yesterday.
Wait, what? No, you can't do that. We're going to owe the bank money because I used all of it for AMC.
Listen, oh boy. See, because
This is a problem.
See, now you guys understand how shorts work. You can't keep borrowing against each other.
yeah, I bought at 346 yesterday. I put all of our money in at 346 yesterday. It's down to 193, but it's going to bounce. I feel a nice bounce coming on any minute now. How many people right now are looking at this and going,
like a cement bowling ball.
like they're going, it's gonna, and right now they're still not selling it. That's the worst part is they're going, no, it's gonna. I'm telling you,
They
man.
honestly think,
rebound.
and that's the problem. They honestly think that this operation is gonna do. So here's what I was telling Royce earlier. If they just held the stock, like let's say everybody who buys in is all in on Wall Street bets and this concept that they will demolish the hedge fund guys by holding onto the stock and forcing them to meet margin calls. Okay, fine. And you're still holding a stock that's going to be worthless at the end of March.
Yeah, no, I mean, look.
GameStop has to release quarterlies. They're not selling anything. It's still GameStop in the end. You could dress a piece of shit up. It's still a piece of shit.
Excuse me, but I want to go buy a used Madden 2021 right now, and I could go to GameStop right now and get it for more expensive than I could buy it on downloading it from my Xbox.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, but who else is going to give me 11 cents for my old DS games?
Yeah,
11 easily, if that.
So take
That's a big
that,
winner.
okay? And
You would
know
think
what?
that stock would be incredibly valuable for the shitty fucking shifty business practices they've done all these years.
And I'm sorry, Steve, but I need to buy one of those Mad Cats controller that I let my friend use when he comes over. I'm not going to give him the good one, you know? So he can use the Mad Cats
you never
one.
give him the good one. You give him the original one that came with the system.
Yeah, here, have this piece of shit. I'll have the good one. But, you know, now somebody asked, it's a good question. Even if they stop it, what's stopping, like, China from continuing doing this now? With Russia from doing this in the market?
Capital injections. Well, so eventually, they're just because, like, and it goes actually back to my earlier point. If they did it, they're doing it by losing money. You're just going to lose money, right? Because eventually these companies are just going to go bankrupt, and they're not going to have anything. People don't understand. You're not giving money. That's like, you know, goes back to what Mersh was saying. There's idiots on there. Hold the line. We're saving these companies. No, you're not. Okay. You're not buying stock from them. They're not getting like your money out of this. They're just looking at a higher stock value, which if they had a plan to somehow turn their company around and not be based in the 2000s anymore, yeah, they could release stock and dilute the stock price and have a whole lot of liquidity, and that'd be cool. But they're not, because they don't, because they're GameStop.
Well, GameStop.
Right? So if they're betting...
Go ahead.
I was going to say, if they're putting in money, Russia, China, whoever, you're just dumping it into a hole that you're going to end up losing, because when the company goes bankrupt, stock's worthless.
Yeah,
nothing to base the stock on.
Well, GameStop, from what I read, they did sell off some shares, like in a pit, because they were like, "This is great."
Of
like,
course, yeah.
Yeah, they sold off some shares because they were like, "Oh man, we needed this. We needed this money."
Well, they had reserve shares because they didn't know how far this was going to go, and so most of these companies have like reserve and restricted shares that they have kind of in the waiting if they need to. They just kind of released a little bit out there to depress the market a smidge, to just kind of let it flow a little bit. And nobody knew how far this would get, right? That's the thing. The minute this thing started getting viral is when it became a problem, because it was viral and it's a stock that was unbelievably cheap, just like Express. What is the other one? Koss, which is a headphones company, right? What is the other one? Nokia, BlackBerry, right? These are cheap stocks. So when it's viral and someone's telling you, "Hey, man, for $100 you can make 100,000," who's going to say no to that? Right? You're going to be all in on that. Holy shit, $100, fuck, no problem. Here you go. I got that on my unemployment check. Here you go.
I don't think anybody was. I mean, maybe some, but I think most people weren't going into it thinking they were going to save GameStop, because let's be realistic. GameStop didn't have a good rap to begin with. Some of them maybe, but for the most part, GameStop was going to fail anyway, right? I think this was just a way to fuck with the system with a company that's already inevitably. And look, man, let's be honest. In 2 years, is GameStop going to be around? Probably not. You know, I doubt it. I mean, very unlikely.
No, you're not wrong, right? And that's why you're not seeing the other shorted positions taking off like GameStop. GameStop, the only reason this worked is probably because Melvin Capital, when he released or when they released that particular fund manager said like, hey, here's our market movements. He made it clear it was a naked short. He didn't have a spread covering his potentiality of loss, because the idea was it's fucking GameStop. Where's it going to go?
Yeah, no,
right?
it's
and
over.
That's what happened, and somebody took advantage of it. They just saw an opportunity.
Yeah, no, they did. And so what do you think happens now? Like, do you think that there? I know I asked it before, but I'll ask again. Obviously, new people listening. Do you think that there'll be any legislation passed because of this?
Unfortunately, Sherrod Brown, who is the Treasury the chair of the committee of some kind or another, he's already wanting to do an investigation. Is the wind really bad? I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren. Oh God, she drove me nuts. She was on CNBC and she got some pushback, which I really liked from the analysts or the reporters. But she was talking about, hey, you see, this is why we need to get the SEC to make a final definition as to what market manipulation looks like. I mean, that's just not like, this is inviting regulation.
Yep.
What I really think is going to probably happen is the SEC will step in on the option side and not allow over leveraging anymore. I don't know how, but like I was telling you earlier, Mike, Mersh, you can over leverage a short position, because remember the losses are limitless, right? So you can over leverage at 100. I think the float was like 121% the last time I checked. So that means that over 121% of the shares are being, shorted. Well, how's that possible? The company's only 100%, right? You can't make more of the company. I don't get to make a fifth of the company extra to short. So, there's that little quirk in the system. So maybe, because that's really what ended up killing Melvin Capital, was the fact that they were so over leveraged into this position.
Well, and I think that's why the GameStop one was one of the only ones that really was successful, because it was the most over leveraged, and people saw that weakness and they were like, oh, we could wipe these guys out in a day, as opposed to some of the other ones where, like you said, they're more covered, or they have some kind of what do you call it, what's the word I'm looking, collateral or whatever backing it, so it's like not as volatile. But yeah, the GameStop one was one of those where it was just this rickety house of cards, and they were like, oh my God, dude, they're leveraged more than there are actual shares. And I think that was why they targeted GameStop so hard.
It was because they didn't have it covered, right? And again, it just goes back to the hubris of the hedge funds. And there's the argument, right, that Royce was talking about earlier, you guys are both talking about, where, hey, that's where Market Watch screws up, and all these optics look bad when they're like, hey, stop laughing, this isn't funny. Well, it is kind of funny.
It's
because
funny.
The hubris of the hedge fund guys is what's causing this. Right? Somebody got a little too complacent and said, who the hell gives a shit what I'm about to do with GameStop? It's friggin' GameStop, right? And so they just did a short sale, which was inevitably going to happen. It's kind of like, listen, your grandma's dying. We're going to find a way to pump Granny for a couple of dollars before she goes out, right? That's all this was. This was just an opportunity to take a dying body in GameStop and make a little cash off it. Well, they left their position open. They should have never announced it, honestly, and they did. And some other guys were even smarter and said, oh, you want to beat up on Grandma? We'll take care of that for you.
No, and you're right. And, and it's funny because I don't know if you saw this this guy, Tim, Howard Lindzon, who was one of the seed investors for Robinhood. So he tweeted out, seed investor at Robinhood, really novice investors playing one of the most complex games in the world using leverage. Surprised that the rules get changed on them mid-game. Precious. I have been there. Head back to your mom's basement in Roblox or get better at the game. This is the kind of stuff. This is the kind of fucking stuff that makes people aggravated. When you talk,
which I don't understand,
people,
because he created a platform that allows them to do what they were arguing for, which is democratizing investing.
Yeah, but the thing is this is what I said on my show last night too, is that these people that run the markets and stuff, they want you to lose. They're okay if you're doing this and losing. They don't care. But like now they're playing it off like they're like, see, this is what happens. You could lose money. I tried to tell you. And it's like, you want people to lose money. You want people to sign up for your app, and everybody wants like You know, even when I like fuck around and trade with crypto, like you want dumbass rookies to enter the market. That's where you get your liquidity. That's how you make money, and that's how you get somebody to buy something that's overvalued from you. So it's like people want the rookies in there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, no, open up an account, play a little bit with your little money, throw a couple of hundred in there and play around in the stock." Like they literally will say, "Play around in the stock market."
Yeah.
They're okay with taking your money. But the minute you fucking, again, throw a Molotov cocktail into the machine, they're like, you know, this isn't funny. And you're like, no, it actually is kind of funny.
So you're not wrong. Hang on, because it's important to know this part of it. This is a thing that a lot of people miss on this. Is in the end, Robinhood, TD Ameritrade, these are still brokerage houses that need assets under management, right? That's the goal for any house. When I used to work for my firm, the goal was assets under management. They can't have you lose money. They just don't want you to try and make too much of it, right? And the reason for that is if you go apeshit, right, then you're just going to try and say, well, I know how to do this on my own, and you're going to leave. Okay, well, now you're going to take your assets with you. Same thing on the other side of that, right? Robinhood can't have these people start losing too much money because you're going to leave the platform. You're going to say, you let me do this. Why did you let me do this? And that's why Robinhood is literally stuck between a rock and a hard place, because they moved on this way too slowly. Right? That's where the issue comes from. And the argument, it goes back to 2008, because that's the other end of this problem. And I was telling Royce that this isn't something that happened over a week, right? This has been a growing problem for 20 years, and that it's just now coming to fruition. And that's what the last, from 2008 going forward, or whenever the Tea Party started, 2010, you know, it's this idea, this growing frustration with elites saying, no, we have this, and do what we tell you to do. And then they get mad when you do that because somebody took advantage or misunderstood, and then they turn around and they blame them. And the elites are like, well, fine, then we're going to be even more protective. And so what ended up happening, like with 2008, is nobody ever looked into the toxic assets except like a handful of people, right? It's in the movie The Big Short, and said, no, guys, this is really fucking terrible. Don't touch this stuff. Everyone's like, no, buy houses, buy more houses, buy 12 houses. You're a stripper, buy 8 houses. This is the best thing you could do, because you know what? Housing's going to the moon, right? So you're going to make a ton of money. And everything died, right? And we almost had a collapse where we would have been Blade Runner or something. So, you know, so now they're overprotecting, right, their position by saying, hey, look, we let it get too far last time, so now we're going to jump way ahead and say, please listen to us, you don't know any better. And that's why the optics are so bad at this, when they just need to kind of slow down and say, let me explain to you what's happening, and then, make your own decision. That's how the market works.
And that, right? And I think that's the bottom line. I think that's the bottom line. Whether you agree with whether you don't, you should have the same rights as any hedge funds people do. You should have the option if it is
right.
They've been touting the free market. Whether you think it's a good decision or not, that shouldn't really matter. But what's happening now, what you're seeing with Robinhood, we've seen with all these people, it's like, you know what, when you're in a casino and you're winning too much, so they ask you to leave. This is what's happening. People are like, they're fucking their system up. They're not playing their little day trading games. Like when these assholes go on CNBC, when these hedge fund people go on CNBC that are
the analysts,
the analysts that are about to or that are shorting a stock, and they go, you know, this company fucking sucks, and they help the stock go under. Not saying the stock wasn't going to go under anyway. They have the right to do that, and that's fine. Let them do it. But the fact that when a bunch of fucking Redditors in their quote unquote mom's basements get their stimulus check and go, hey, let's see what we could do with this, they get angry.
So, and so you actually make two really good points, two different points. Number one, the people who are also pushing this are people like Elon Musk. Why is Elon angry? Because the short position guys have been screwing his stock over for years.
Right.
And he may and the fundamentals kind of support their argument, right? But Elon makes, just like Portnoy, because the two of them are really the heavy drivers here. Right. Like Portnoy could sit there and say, go buy mouse farts, and you will find a way to buy mouse farts. No matter what happens, Portnoy says it, he's got an army that will follow his command, one way or another. It's not a good or a bad thing, it's just reality, right? Elon's got the same thing. So when both of them jump in and they're like, hey, this is bullshit, then
Steve?
Sorry, I got another call coming in.
Assassinated.
Yeah, it is. So when what was I saying? Elon. So when Elon says, do this, or, hey, this sucks, and everybody else says, hey, this sucks, And it's, oh, well, Elon said it, so it must be true. Look how smart Elon is. He puts satellites into space and, fucking cars with astronauts and shit, whatever.
He builds trucks with windows that break.
Yes, yeah. So the other problem, though, Royce, like you said, there's an unintended consequence here, right? Which is, and I was talking to a couple buddies this morning, there's a very good chance that this might prevent the $1,400 stimulus checks to go out.
Yep.
Because the government, who has to pretend to be your babysitter, is going to say, well, God, if we send this money out, they're just going to do this shit all over again. And that's not stimulating the economy. That's literally just pouring money right back into the same problem that Democrats are going to say is the enemy in the first place.
But
it's a feedback loop.
Like we talked about earlier today, though, which I thought was the stimulating the economy is a completely different world. Like we talked about, remember when we talked about Bush sent out the $300 after 9/11, and that money was supposed to be like, oh, go to Macy's and go spend it. Most of these places don't exist anymore. You're not going to go to a brick and mortar store, so your money is either you're going to give it to Amazon, you're going to give it to Walmart, right, and that's pretty much it. Like,
and I'll also make the argument that, quite frankly, if the government gives me $2,000 and I immediately spend it on degen leverage trading and fucking options and wildly speculative cryptocurrency and I lose every penny of it, I've still spent that money better than the government will. So fuck them. I still want my money. Okay? It's still better off. It's better off me, even if I'm the one, like just me being the one pissing it away. I'd still give me my money, fucks. Like.
So you're right if it was your money, right? But it's not.
It is my money.
And
it's our money.
It's not, because
I want it now.
Hang on. Hear me out. Let me explain how I'm seeing this real quick. So yes, it's your money because you pay taxes too, right? So, but so do I, and so does Royce, and so does the listeners and what have you, hopefully. So the problem is that money is being generated off of a tax base that now is pumping in more capital injection that allows for more stupid trades like this, that creates a feedback loop, that more people are poor, so now we got to give you more money, and then you're going to turn around and say, well, I'm going to look for the next opportunity to make more money because I need more money, and then it just keeps going and going and going, and that's the problem with the way that the Fed is operating liquidity. It's like, that's the thing. There's so many little spiders that connect out to this and create this massive web that it's extremely complicated, and that's where I was telling Royce this morning, that's how 08 kind of got started, was there's so much more behind it. It's not just this easy, hey, here's what you should do when you make $1 million, like a reverse mortgage or, something else that you would hear on AM radio or buying gold or whatever. Like there's more to these things that are driving the movements and going from one step to the next step to the next step. And that's, people are like, hey, why did we bail out the banks? I get it, right? The banks are the ones who created these toxic assets and literally gave them to their analysts to push on to other people, like a mortgage-backed security back in 2005, 2006, 2007, going into the crash at 08, right? But at the same time, without giving them money, we have no monetary system. And it becomes this too big to fail, which is an argument that absolutely people should, well, we shouldn't have that, right? Yes.
Right.
And no, because now you're arguing against the free market, and the free market's allowing the gobbling of the smaller banks to be taken on. Because why? Well, because the same people who just got done telling you too big to fail is a problem and we have to hit them back is the same party that argues for raising taxes, which screws small business. And those small businesses are going to be what? Bought out by the big banks, which creates a monopoly, which creates a too big to fail situation. So it just keeps going and going and going, and they don't want to admit that they're fucking part of the problem.
So,
right?
If I'm understanding you correctly, what you're saying is we should all invest in Dogecoin. Am I correct?
Without question.
All your money, Dogecoin, we're going
every dollar of it
to the moon.
No, I mean that. No, actually, I'll say this unironically. Yeah, if you guys want to listen, if you guys want to, I'm going to invest in the economy and own pieces of a company, then talk to Steve. But if you want to learn how to go full blown degen on Uniswap, okay, get you a MetaMask wallet, you come to me. All right.
You go full in. Just start a mining operation where you're buying out servers and stealing them and hiding them in a warehouse where you're jacking the entire electricity of a small town in Indiana.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, man.
That server, baby. Start mining Bitcoin.
Buy Dogecoin for 1/10 of a cent. Okay, you keep swapping it back and forth for Tether, and by tomorrow you either have thousands of dollars or you're poor.
You'll be wiping your ass with $100 bills. It'll be like the end of the trading places.
So let me read some. I have to read some of these here.
Yeah.
Sinister Charlie. Boy, that my bookie sure is amazing. Nods approvingly. Then Mersh's Bay, Rob is gay. Does have a question for Steve. What if Stephen Hawking was a real Slim Shady, but he just couldn't stand up? Steve, comment.
Ooh, I like that. That's a great point.
This
And now I'm
is
going to not sleep
serious.
tonight thinking about that.
This is serious stuff. Serious stuff coming in.
Serious.
Something
This
else.
is better than the Kong versus Godzilla for sure.
Yeah.
What if Stephen Hawking was a Slim Shady, but he just can't stand?
Yeah.
It throws the entire song away.
Moral Pejorative says the NotCIA Steve guy does sound German. Oh, he must be from Argentina. I get it. Wink, wink. El SA.
I like it.
Oh, fuck. All right. So I know you can't offer any financial advice because obviously you don't want to go to jail. You can't.
Right.
But if you
prison's not fun for me.
Prison's not fun for anybody. I mean, I'm assuming.
I would hope not.
He'd be pulling the fucking Andy Dufresne in there. I know a lot about money and stocks.
He's helping the warden.
I would find the warden in a heartbeat. Do you need me to just launder some cash for you? Because I am more than happy to do so, as long as you keep the sisters off of me.
Yeah, fucking you. I like to say Steve didn't have the sisters on him. I like to say that. But
I would love to see that version of
can't.
Shawshank where Steve goes to jail, tries that, and just immediately gets rearrested for trying to bribe.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
It's just nothing like a movie. You're like, listen, I can help you launder money. Did you just offer to? Okay, you know what? You're under
He's
arrest
leaning
again.
his lapel towards me. Can you say that again one more time?
What was that about money laundering?
Now, here's
lay it out for me slowly.
Another question: why is Biden going to be the best president we've ever had?
I can't answer that question.
But you have to. Ridiculous. You have to answer.
I'm not answering.
I think it's an easy answer though. Like it's because he's gonna. He wants to bring people
He's
together.
the Lord and Savior. He's gonna create unity.
Yeah.
Well, so we do have a question for $5.
Okay.
This is the username. It's a real question, but here's the username. Kamala Speckled says,
"Oh my God,
Jesus!
How long do these hedge funds?"
That's
That's why he's going to be the best president. How long do these hedge funds have to keep their shorts open? Is there a time limit where they have to close them out and then lose a lot, or can they just keep them open until the stock goes down below what they bought it for?
That's a good question. So normally contract positions, like options contracts, are a month long. Sometimes they're 4 months long. It depends on how far out you want to buy it. Now, obviously, you can if you buy a longer short, you're betting on stuff that you don't know. So it's no different than like betting on the Buccaneers in the beginning of the season, right? Where they were like a massive underdog in terms of where they were going to get to.
And let me be fair. You know who was saying to bet on the Bucks? Mike was.
Would that be you?
Mersh was saying on my bookie, since the beginning of the season, bet on the Bucks, and nobody listened to him.
Yeah, bet on the Bucks every single week, and here we are.
And no one
welcome,
listened.
America.
So let's take that as a great example to kind of answer their question. Is if I bet on the Bucks at the beginning of the season, there's a huge risk that I could lose, right? Because the odds were massive. But if I bet on the Bucks a week ago to go to the Super Bowl, well, the odds are a lot smaller, right? There's only 2 teams in the championship. One of them is the Buccaneers. So my odds are going to be much smaller, and therefore I'm not going to have as much of a growth opportunity to make some money. I'm only going to make a smidge amount of money, right? Versus if I bet on them in the beginning of the season. So the longer your short play is, the more volatility there is in terms of you can either make a lot of money or you're going to lose a lot of money. Sometimes the premiums are a little bit cheaper. So who you buy the contract off of has a premium. What they'll end up doing, and you see this in The Big Short, Michael Burry does it, where he just keeps extending the short play and keeps just burning cash, right? And what he did with his hedge fund was he kept telling his investors, give me more money. I need to keep extending these swaps out, these credit default swaps, to keep going, because eventually this is going to happen and we're going to make $1 billion. Well, if you're a hedge fund person, right, an investor, and you're being told, I need another $50,000 to lose. And you're like, what are you, fucking crazy, dude? And the guy's just telling you, no. Just hear me out. In like a year, you're going to make $1 billion. Give me another 125K. And you're like, no, I'm not going to keep giving you money, right? And so he ended up getting into a fight with his investors, and then they ended up making $1 billion. And they're like, hey, thanks a lot. We're going to close the position. They're usually month contracts if you're just kind of looking to not get your ass killed, but they can be as far as 3 months out. It's on the actual ticker. It'll show you when the contract closes, and then it'll tell you how much your premium is and what your strike price is, which is what you're aiming for on the target. And then you just keep, if the month is closing, you can do one of two things. You can either buy out your position, which is you cover the spread, right? So whatever the difference is between where the stock is at going into the close and your target price, which is normally relatively close, or you get what's called a margin call, where you let this contract expire, you didn't close the contract out, and that's what the attempt is against Melvin Capital, is to make them pay the difference. So if you're at $20 strike price, and I think it closed yesterday at like $325, okay, so that's $305 per share, and they're in it for like $1 million or 1 million shares. So Melvin would have had to pay day of $305 million. Well, they might not even have that. Yeah, like that's the problem. That's what happened. I was telling Royce, that's what happens in Trading Places. Like everyone watches Trading Places and doesn't know what the fuck is going on. They just know Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy end up on a boat, right? Yeah. And that the old guys lose. Okay, but what's really
excuse me, spoiler alert, I was just about to watch that movie.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're about 25 years late.
Yeah.
So
more than that, man, late. 30.
Yeah. 30, almost 40 years, actually. Jesus, God, we're old.
We're so old.
Yeah, that's bad. So what's going on in that movie, and kind of give you an idea of what happened to them, is exactly what the attempt was on Melvin Capital. Was they tried to corner the frozen concentrated orange juice market by bringing up the price, or anticipating with their fake data that Dan Aykroyd provided, that orange juice was going to be heavily killed on a freeze, so there would be less supply. So if the price is really, really high, this is commodities trading, but it's not too different. If the price is really, really high and people need orange juice, they're going to pay your super high price, right? That was the idea that the old guys, the Dukes, were trying to do. But Aykroyd and the guys, and Eddie Murphy, knew orange juice was going to be fine. So they were selling contracts at a lower price, then turned around and bought it even lower and made like a shit ton of money. Which is a short position.
Steve, look, we actually came up to the end of the show, man. We really appreciate you being on.
You got it, buddy. No worries.
I want to, first off, you need to do a podcast once a week about this stuff. I think people would actually really enjoy it.
I'm giving it some thought.
Now stop giving it thought. You fucking, Jesus Christ, pull the trigger. God damn it. I've been telling you for like 2 years now. Fucking do it. All right. And of course, if you want, I'm going to plug your Twitter. If you want to follow Steve on Twitter, it's Steve.
It's not that exciting, I promise.
It's, Jesus Christ. Stop.
You're bad at this.
On there. I usually like baseball tweets and shit like that.
Whatever. It's Steve T313. That's Steve T313. Steve is a good dude. I said it earlier, but I'll say it again. Steve is one of those dudes. Whenever there's a hurricane coming, he goes and helps old ladies put shutters up. And he recently gave his dad his kidney. Like, he's a really legitimately good guy. You need to promote yourself better, bud. You need a manager.
I mean, did you at least?
I'm humble.
Did you at least charge him?
For the kidney?
Yeah.
No, you don't charge him.
Why? He's getting a fucking kidney.
He's your dad.
Hey, yeah, it's my dad. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's your dad. And you say...
I've made enough stupidity decisions in the past that he didn't kill me. I think that was
Steve's Steve's shorting his kidney.
I'd be like, I get it, but not good enough. Like, what else you got?
Oh, fuck.
What do you have on you right now? Like,
I actually got mad at him. I told him I wish he was a drunk, because then I wouldn't actually have to lose the organ. You just chunk off a piece of your liver and it grows like a starfish.
Hey, man, thanks for being on, Steve. I appreciate it, man. You're welcome on the show anytime.
Hey, my pleasure, boys. No problem. You give me a call anytime, man.
All right, buddy. Take it easy. See you later.
All right. Take care.
All right. That's our buddy Steve here.